Sup, Devils? J-Dawg back to answer more goddamn questions. Still here in goddamn New River, fucking Arizona. Dodging tarantulas, fucking goddamn scorpions, coyotes, and goddamn fucking rolling bushes. Got a setup here, though, where I was able to set the laptop up because the paid skis are piling up. They're coming in, not hitting the quota per day, but ever since I left, the night before I left, which was Thursday night, I record this on New Year's Eve. So good 4 or 5 days piling up. So I got like maybe a little over half a dozen or so more. So I wanted to get through them. I found got set up so I could set up the laptop. So I'm just going to go straight up off these so I can, don't like to get paid skis go to the front of the line, as you goddamn know. So first one we got is from an anonymous paid question. He said, "Sup, dog? Hope that your and you and your family's holidays were great." Yeah, they're fine. I mean, Christmas, honestly, I was in the goddamn warehouse on Christmas Day, to be honest with you. Today's New Year's Eve, so this is technically a holiday. You see what the fuck I'm doing. And then tomorrow is the last day we're here. Then we come home bright and early in the morning on the fucking 2nd, which fucking sucks. Got to be at the airport at 3:30 a.m., which I'm not happy about that. He's like, I'm working a pre-apprentice job, becoming a millwright. Currently 6 months away from getting into my trade. Most of all the foremen I work with, most all the foremen I work with are awesome, respectful guys. But there is one, he puts in all caps, who is an absolute canoe. Yeah, I mean, working jobs, that is, yeah, you're going to kind of run into that, right? He puts in parentheses, and is also who I deal with the most. Oh, well, yeah, that definitely sucks. He's a completely disrespectful, tough guy. Gets off on trying to rile up the young bucks. Doesn't need Google because he knows everything. I know dude, I know those guys. Yeah, like I've met a few. Cable Guy was actually one of those guys. You guys know Cable Guy. That's where I got Trey as a cat from. Had to fucking hang out with them a couple times. One of those double date things where it's like, want to hang out? Not really, but the wife's like, all right, we should. I guess. See poker face it. He's one of those guys that, yeah, he knows everything about everything. I'll give you an example. Like, he's the type of guy that he hasn't bowled in 15 years. Maybe he did it 5 to 10 times in his life. And he's at a bowling alley, and let's say there's a professional goddamn bowler. He's gonna give him tips on how to do it. He's that type. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I know a few people like that, and but he was always, it's just annoying. Yeah, it's like he knows everything about everything. Tough love is a part of this industry. However, it is evident to me that this is not this guy's game. So you're basically saying he doesn't know shit, and yet he's talking like he does. I guess I am telling you this because I am looking for some advice on how to deal with these types of know-it-all tough guys. Maybe you have a story to share about dealing with all these types of work relationships. That's tough, dude, because it's one thing, like, yeah, if you're just out and about, or even a scenario when you're with Cable Guy, when you know you're hanging out, you know, reluctantly so, or even willingly, you could just never hang out with the person again. Maybe just stomach them for that evening. Or if it's really bad, you can tell them to just piss off and just leave. But in the workforce, especially if it's a job you need, I mean, and if he's one of the top, you know, not necessarily the supervisor, but been there longer. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like part of the job. Like, to be honest, the way I would look at it, that sense, it's a lot of jobs that you gonna work, or pretty much any job, even if it's a job that you like, there's probably something about the job you don't like. So you have to add it all up. How much BS versus the good shit versus the pay, how much you enjoy the job, how much outweighs what, you know what I mean? If the good outweighs the bad, then you just put up with it. If the bad outweighs the good, when you make a goddamn tally, you know, cons versus pros, make a goddamn list, and if you got 10 pros and 2 cons, it's like, I'll probably just rough it out. If it's 10 cons, 2 pros, it's like, all right, you probably start looking for another goddamn job. Because even myself, made no mistake about it, when I was in the workforce, regular workforce, I'm not telling someone to just fuck off who's a coworker, and it's like, I know this is gonna either make my job from here on out harder or more goddamn inconvenience, or just get straight up fucking canned. So I didn't have to deal with it too much. Like when I was at Dupley, it was pretty nice because you were kind of on your own. Like, yeah, there was other people there, but I didn't have to collaborate too much with them. You kind of just ran your own machine, and as long as you got your production done, you didn't have someone breathing down your goddamn neck. They would come to you the next day if your production wasn't up. They would see the production report. Like if you were like expected 20,000 impressions an hour, you worked a 10-hour shift, you were expected roughly 200,000 impressions per hour for the machine I was running. If for whatever reason you had 110, they would confront you the next day. What the fuck? You better have a damn good reason. So I didn't have to deal with quote unquote canoes like that there. And in the goddamn fast food days, I got along pretty much with everybody. It was mostly the people I just thought were jackasses were the ones that they were mostly around my age. I didn't have problems like that with them. It was just more so shit like I just thought it was funny, like just lack of go-getter. Like they'd almost like bitch if they got too many hours. I'm like, what do you mean, brah? The more hours, the better. Like that's more pay. Like what are you talking about? What else are you going home and doing? Not doing shit. So I just noticed that my outlook on it was very, very different. But I looked at it as a positive. I'm like, fuck it, more hours for the goddamn dog. So unfortunately, myself or anyone, I don't think I could give any fucking quote unquote just tough it out, fucking tough guy, fucking answer to that. It's just weigh out the cons and pros. If the pros outweigh it, that's one of the, you have to just realize that's one of the shit sandwiches you're willing to deal with at that goddamn job. And if that's that big of a deal, then I guess start looking for somewhere else, right? Best case scenario, he fucking kicks the bucket, dead or in jail, or fucking quits, right? That would make the goddamn life easier. Cody Klein, pay question. Hey dog, can you shout out my band's new single? It's Frame the Remain by Gut Shovel. By the time you talk about it on the channel, it should be on all streaming platforms. If anyone dislikes the tunes, just know I'm only vocalist, so don't come at me, homies. So only come at you basically if they think this vocal suck, huh? The single is from our upcoming Restrained EP. Once that drops, I'll send it over for a full review. We will have some band photos up on Metal Archives by then. Yeah, I searched on it's not you're not on Metal Archives as of now. Not when I looked at it. I couldn't find it. So you can tear us apart. Yeah, you can send that on over. Any shirt I wear in the photos will come from Hell's Headbangers, of course. You shouldn't look too goddamn deplorable then. I mean, at least if you got the goddamn metal shirt on, right? It's at least somewhat up to par. If you get around to listening to it, you didn't send me a goddamn link, homeboy. I couldn't find that shit. That would be cool, but if you could just get the word out, that is also more than enough. I'm looking forward to getting the Eat the Decay LP. That thing looks sick as fuck, brah. Thanks for your time, homie. Sure is, and don't dick around the Eat the Decay because there's only 300 pressed, and I know there's less than 100 copies left. So you figure 2/3 of the pressing's already moved. Yeah, it moved pretty goddamn good, especially for a brand new band, very first release, underground release, non-Instagirl fucking death metal, grindcore, whatever, it's kind of in that category. And look at these goddamn fucking canoes. Fucking goddamn Arizona Hill Jacks. Fucking up the dog's vid with their goddamn fucking crotch rockets. Real man don't drive no goddamn crotch rocket. If you're in a bikes, you're in a fucking Harley or up, right? I'm not even in a bikes and I know that's crotch rocket. That's for goddamn blonde bleached top fucking hair, goddamn Amber Crombie and Fitch, just cologne so douchebags that are fucking 19, 20 years old that think they're goddamn tough. Crotch rockets that these fucking chomos over here are. Yeah, thanks for your time, homie. Next goddamn in line is from from Ty Gnatic. Paid shout out, it looks like. Says, shout out, how's your morning, J-Dog? Not too bad, although I'm recording this well in the afternoon. My name is Ty and my band Punctured, so the band's goddamn Punctured, based in Indiana. Not far at all from me then. You're the next goddamn state over, homeboy. Better be at Dead by Dog, goddamn it. That's a 4-hour drive. Got no excuses. I drove to Indiana just a couple months ago. That's where I did that Lord Aramount from Dark Funeral interview. It's a goddamn cakewalk. Bring the whole goddamn band. Dead by Dog. West Side Bowl in Youngstown, Ohio. God damn it. June 21st. Take us in the description box. Indiana, you watching the goddamn dog, your ass better be there. I don't want to hear no bullshit. I gave you a goddamn year's notice, homie. And even if you're just seeing this now, you got 6 months notice. No excuses. Clear your goddamn schedule. Take off work. Do what you got to do. Based in Indiana, released our self-titled debut EP. Considering half the band is still in high school, well, maybe you might not make it to that by dog. Then you might not even have a driver's license for all I fucking know. It's like myself included. I thought it would be smart to have the dog shout out our release. That's the way to go, homie. He's like, shout out. He's like, my $10 is for your opinion on our song, Scorched Beyond Belief, which I listened to, yes. And just a little shout out, which would be found on Bandcamp, YouTube. Yeah, I YouTubed it. We tried to do a healthy mix, modern and old school death metal. Question out of curiosity, I just wanted to know your opinion on the Finnish death metal band, Adramalek. I think that's how you pronounce them. Assuming the dog knows them, and if you don't, Psychostasia is their best release. Thanks for the reply. So I'll answer the last one first. The Adramalek, again, assuming that's how you pronounce them. Yes, I am familiar with them. I was late to the game on them. I first heard them when Extreme Music Records reissued their CDs, and I did listen to them. And I remember I thought it was okay. It wasn't anything I picked up, but it was I probably only listened to it like twice. Maybe it's something I'd grow on. You know, it was obviously an earlier death metal band that I heard much, much later. Like I didn't hear that in my teenage years or my early 20s. I was well into my goddamn 30s by the time I heard it. And I'm like, it's okay. It didn't knock my socks off or anything, so I didn't pick it up. And I don't even know if I've even listened to any of their one releases twice. I think I maybe listened to 2 different discs. But probably 2 total listens in totality of the band. And definitely didn't suck. It was definitely respectable shit. It wasn't anything that stood out to me that where I picked it up and got to know it. So that's kind of my stance on that. As far as your band, I did listen to it. And I thought it was a pretty enjoyable goddamn song. It's funny, the first 2 bands that kind of popped to my mind was Lividity and Regurgitation. Didn't necessarily sound like them, but it had some parts that were similar, especially some of the high screams, similar like Lividity, the drum sound. Kind of reminded me of Lividity, Regurg trying to play like late 90s death metal. Not in the style of their genre, like the brutal death, more like traditional death metal, what was considered traditional death metal in the late 90s. Lividity, Regurg trying to play that. That's the best way I can describe it off a one-time listen. And I thought it was definitely pretty goddamn good. The cover was kind of cool, kind of cheesy. It reminded me of just the type of painting or whatever the hell it is. It reminded me of the Profanatica Broken Jew 7-inch, to where you see it and you're just like, it looks kind of silly, but at the same time it's kind of cool. That's what it reminded me of cover-wise. But all in all, definitely a solid listen. I just listened to that one song, and it looked like an EP that came out in 2024. I mean, did I ever bring up? Thought I brought you up on Metal Archives. I did. Where was it fucking at? So looked you up. So that thing just came out. Was that the one that came out? I think it just came out on Christmas Day. Punctured. Pretty sure this was the one I looked up on Metal Archives, because the other band that I just talked about earlier, I think that was the one that didn't pop up on Metal Archives. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Lake Station, Indiana. I usually go out to Fort Wayne, Indiana, so I'm not sure how far Lake Station is from there. Formed in 2023 to present, and the EP just came out in 2024. Clicking on it, and it says, December 25th. It says, so is it digital only? I'd recommend getting some hard copies of that, homeboy. 6 songs, 23 minutes, so similar first release like Suffocation, Human Waste, goddammit, as far as time frame, so kudos there. He said you guys are all in high school. Band photo looks, for the most part, acceptable. You guys actually look like more adults, and like, it's about time, goddamn. The kids of today, you ever notice that? You see some 18-year-olds, like, dude, you look like you're goddamn 12 years old. You guys at least look like you're probably around 20 or so. The worst looking offender is the guy on the far right with the stupid ass beanie and I don't know, just looks a little goddamn, looks a little ghetto to me. The kid in the middle, he looks like he's Looks a little like scared to be in the photo or shy. Looks like he's trying to fucking protect his booty, like getting prison raped, goddammit. Looks like kind of a pushover. And everybody else looks pretty goddamn manly and fucking metal. Guy on the far left in the obituary shirt looks like he went to goddamn Golden Corral and bulked up to fit in that goddamn shirt. So, yeah, all in all, definitely acceptable goddamn image, too. Band titles, there's probably, I guess only one punctured came up, so I guess go run with it. Then the Metal Archives didn't give me a ton of them. It sounds kind of more like a generic name, but hey, at least it's not another Disgorge. And themes are anti-religion. That works. So yeah, all in all, it seems like it's a solid new band. I thought the song was good. So yeah, just run with it, homie. Michael Prince, paid question. He's got two of them. He says, number one, rubber ducks on the dash of Jeeps. When I see a grown man hopping on this trend, I want to open his door and swipe all those ducks right off the dash. I swear these normies need to get their test checked ASAP. Who puts fucking rubber ducks on their dash? Your thoughts on this trend? I'm unaware of the phenomenon. I can't say I've ever seen it. I mean, I somewhat know what you're talking about in the sense that you see shit where you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you'll see in the car and it's like little kid shit. I guess the best way I can comment on that is if they have little ones and it's there for them, then fair enough. I can understand that. But if it's just a grown man and he's single, has no kids, and there's no kids in his car, that screams to me, what are you doing? That's almost like, what are you trying to attract little children? It's this possible pedophile. So keep your goddamn eye out on him. Because, yeah, why else would you have that other than for kids? You're saying it's like a regular thing as a trend. I've never, a lot of times I'm just oblivious to shit. So maybe I just didn't catch on to it. But I have noticed just like, yeah, I mean, over the years, it's anything. I don't know. Like, well, it's shit. Just like, I think I told a story. Like, yeah, guy's on a bike and he's listening to he's got the radio on and it's blasting. He's on a motorcycle and he pulls up next to you, whatever, and he's got fucking Backstreet Boys or something. It's like, dude, I'm pretty sure if you went to a goddamn real biker bar, you get fucking shanked for listening to that shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, you should have something a little more goddamn manly than that on. Put on some classic rock at the very least. Hell, I'll even accept it's more like hardcore rap. Something, dude. You got Backstreet Boys. That Backstreet Boys playing, dog? It is of the equivalent, dude. Like, total fucking 12-year-old girl goddamn music. Like, I've heard it. So, there's dudes doing that shit. And if that's the case, maybe rubber ducks are a goddamn thing on dashboards. But I can't say that I've noticed it as a trend that I've is ongoing seeing. He's like, second, to ruffle some feathers here, the first three Malevolent Creation albums are on par with the first three Cannibals, first three Deicides, first three Morbid Angel, and first three Christian. Said in a minute, to really get people huffing and puffing, Stillborn is a top 10 death metal album all the time in my book. I don't know if they're going to be huffing and puffing too much about that because there's going to be a lot of people that agree with that, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't. But I've said it, I think even in interviews and shit. I mean, I even mentioned the goddamn Glenn Benton. Like, why does he think bands like Monstrosity and Malevolent Creation, specifically you mentioned them because they're from Florida, and I make an educated assumption that he'd be somebody he at least know who the fuck I'm talking about. I didn't want to mention some band that he has, who? You already said that for Dead. But even like the first three Monstrosity records, I think it's totally on par with the Cannibals, Deicides, Morbid Angels. Now, for example, Deicide and Cannibal, yeah, I like those. Those would be at the top of my list. And do I like Cannibal and Deicide more than the first three Malevolents? I do, but I think, yes, it's equal quality and equal respectable. Like, for example, if somebody said, I like the first three Malevolent Creations more than the first three Deicides or the first three Cannibals, I could see that. That's an acceptable goddamn take. And that's why I roast goddamn Snorguts, even though people like, it's so funny because ever since I bring this up, both are like, people legitimately think that I don't like Gorguts or Bolthor at all. I generally dislike the band. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure I prefaced it at least once. I literally own shit. I own Consider Dead. I think that's actually cover art too. That's in top fucking 25 death metal covers of all time. I always thought that cover's awesome. But the rest of this, the Consider Dead is just like, yeah, it's nowhere near as good as all the ones you just mentioned. And after that, Erosion of Sanity, I was like, it's just all technical and wanky. And then after that, it was just unacceptable in my opinion. So when we're comparing first three albums by bands starting on the same time, like, these are way goddamn better. Both were the same thing. I just thought bands like Christian, Deicide, Morbid Angel, I thought those were just, I just thought they were way better than both were. I just flat out did. But Malevolent and Monstrosity, I thought those were on par. And yeah, it's a goddamn good gauge to where if you know someone's really into goddamn death metal, at least on maybe not a super underground scale, because for me, if you claim you're into death metal, you don't necessarily have to be into the more obscure shit to where it's like, you know, you just got to out underground the next guy. But I figure just by automatic defaults, because it's easy to find and it would have fell in your lap if you had any interest in this music whatsoever. If you claim you like Cannibal, because that's going to be the band, or Cannibal, Deicide, or Morbid Angel, because those are the, you know, the top three as far as size-wise. You meet that fucking person at a goddamn Panini's fucking douche and they say they like them, hence liking death metal, you better like fucking or be very fully aware of Malevolent, Creation, Monstrosity, and bands of that caliber, because what are you talking about, dude? It's only because of vast majority of the population of the scene being posers and they just go by what other people's take is and they regurgitate what they're saying. That is the only reason that those bands aren't of equal size of Cannibal, Deicide, Morbid Angel. Now, I understand somebody's got to be at the top size-wise, but there's an enormous fucking large quantity difference if you added up all the fans, whatever the quantity is, records sold, between Cannibal and Malevolent Creation. It's not even 50%. I've never seen the stats, but I would bet everything. The top-selling Malevolent Creation record and the top-selling Cannibal, Malevolent Creation isn't even at 50%. That means less than half the people that bought a Cannibal record, let's say The Bleeding, did not buy a Malevolent Creation. That, to me, is unacceptable. It just flat out is. That is majority goddamn posers. I understand music's in the ear of the beholder and that there's going to be some that might not like it, but not half. I'm sorry, not half. And that's just because it's people not thinking for themselves. They're not truly into it as is. They bought the fucking Bleeding and whatever when it came out and probably lost it or took it to record exchange. I remember that. I used to listen to those guys. It's that clientele of who bought the product. And even fast forward today, ones that are going to do so, fast forward another 20 years, they're going to be on that. Because there's no goddamn reason in hell. I mean, dude, just even by default, we're talking about Monstrosity. How the fuck do you think me and my brothers found out about Monstrosity? How do you think that is? It was a simple, not Google search. Google didn't even exist. That's why today there's no fucking excuse. We literally just looked up. I don't remember how you were even done back. Maybe just word of mouth. You asked around. What other bands were these guys in? So Vile was already out, had that. Corpse Grinder. Oh, he sung in this other band, Monstrosity. Surely you're gonna check it out. That's what we did. I'll give you a little goddamn fucking funny story. First time met Corpse Grinder, it was on the Bloodthirst tour. So I can't remember the exact year. It was either 2000 or 2001. It was one of them. And me and my brothers, we brought all our Cannibal CDs to get signed. You know, obviously had Corpse Grinder only signed the ones that he was on and etc. That the ones that he wasn't, we were particular about that. If you weren't on the album, didn't have you sign it. So George, we had him sign Vile, Gallery of Suicide, and Bloodthirst. Those would have been the only albums out at the time that he was on. And we each brought on Monstrosity CDs too. Now, he wasn't shocked like, whoa, Monstrosity. That wasn't his response. But on a much less exaggerated scale than that was his response. Like, whoa, shit, you got Monstrosity. Cool. Yeah. He said, like, you don't see this every day. And it was funny. I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess a lot of these posers, and I'm thinking this as a teenager, I guess a lot of these posers don't know who Monstrosity is. I'm like, that is unacceptable, man. Like, how did you not go back and look about, oh, Corpse Grinder's in this? Well, okay. The band originally had this singer called Chris Barnes. It's now got this new singer, Corpse Grinder. He don't look like he's 16 years old. He's roughly the same age as everybody. Cannibal's a successful band now. They're on their 5th album as they brought this guy as a new singer. Let me do some basic math. Do you think they just grabbed any random hoagie sitting on his couch? Or do you think they got somebody that was doing something prior? Anybody with half a fucking brain would be like, we got this guy. He's now the lead singer of Cannibal, who was the leading death metal band at that time, or at least top 3, Cannibal, Morbid Angel, Deicide. I'm pretty sure he was in something else. You're not even the slightest bit curious what that is? Love Cannibal, bro. You're not even curious what the singer was doing beforehand? Dude, I'm sorry. That's fucking poser shit. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how I can spot these fucking goddamn trendy fucking just fit-ins because it's cool. I don't know if I like the band, dude, but I'm going to go because it's the cool thing to do. Bonus points if you fucking know that goddamn reference. It's what it is, dude. And that's why I've noticed these guys from day fucking one. Day fucking one. And that's just one goddamn example. Malevolent Creation's the same goddamn boats. Just another Florida band that, which technically speaking, the hysterical goddamn part of it all, if you actually know your goddamn history, Malevolent Creation, their first demo was 86. For the longest time, I thought it was just the 87 demo, but when that full compilation double disc came out, with that Vic Records did, fantastic release, by the way, it had an extra demo on there. I always thought it was just the 87 demo that was first. No, they haven't even a demo before that. They were around before Cannibal and Deicide. Not around before Morbid Angel. Morbid Angel was around first before all of them. You know, first release, what was that, 84, 85 with the Dallas Ward? Is that who it was singing? And they're not very good, I'll say. I didn't think that shit was very good. Didn't start to get good until, you know, Abominations and Thy Kingdom Come and all that. That stuff was really started to get fucking really good. Because there was the one demo without it. Wasn't it just an instrumental, though? None the goddamn less. They weren't around before goddamn Malevolent Creation. I mean, they weren't around before, they were around before Malevolent Creation, but Deicide and Cannibal, Malevolent Creation was around first. And they're not even a fraction of the goddamn size. Again, it just... And they never left. There's no this, we're back shit. You could argue, I don't like every album, dog. Okay, that's fine. You don't like at least the first three. Again, that's poser fucking... Just poser shit, man. Flat out poser shit. The only guys that get a pass that are true metalists, in my opinion, that don't like anything by Malevolent Creation is the goddamn burnout fucking geezers, such as the goddamn Dawn of the Deads, the King Follies, and shit like that. They get a pass because they don't like anything past 89 anyways. Dawn of the Dead doesn't like anything by Deicide. He doesn't like anything by Cannibal Corpse. That's 90s junk, bro. Suffocation. Oh my God, dude. I remember when they handed me that demo. He's like, I threw it out the window. He's like, Greg Beal loved it. He's like, we went out in the car, we listened to it. He said, I gave it back. I was like, I don't even want this. This is junk. Exact words, what he said. He gets a pass because, dude, he pretty much signed out after fucking 89. He didn't like anything. Granted, I disagree with that. I think some of the best shit is 90 and up. Not the fucking point. At least he's goddamn consistent. If you're walking around saying you like Cannibal and Deicide, I'm sorry. 80% chance, unless you have a damn good fucking reason, you like Monstrosity and Malevolent Creation. Common fucking sense. Comes with insurance, you don't have to do, but the Godbots get in the morning. And don't forget them goddamn paid skis. In the description box, Bubbles. Dead by Dog ticket in the goddamn description box. And also your goddamn J-Dog slogan. Get them now. Later, goddammit.